Eve and welcome to Sibyl Tarot. This is a general reading. It's just for the day that's in it, because today marks the day that Mars turns retrograde for the next 2.5 months in its own sign of Aries, and this is very significant time of the year for a lot of people. To find out how it affects you, you would have to look up your ascendant sign, your rising sign. Ascendant is your rising sign, so the day and time that you were born and where the sun was rising in the east at the time that you were born. But so for me personally, also Mars it's a personal planet, it's an inner planet, so it's talking about, oneself or whatever. But Mars rules Aries and Scorpio, so people who would have a lot of Aries or Scorpio in their chart, for the next 2.5 months, this can be very, I want to say, it's a shake up, with Mars going retrograde in its own sign. So Mars is a warrior, he's a soldier, and Aries also represents, this energy of being the soldier, so you would have to see as to where the planet Mars is located in your natal chart. For me, it's in my 10th house, so it's going to be all to do with public image and my career and stuff like that. And I do know, and I noticed this for the last 2.5 weeks, there's changes, abrupt changes that are happening, and I think this is because of Mars, because this is what Mars is, abruptness, there's going to be change, a sudden change, and I know, speaking to a couple of other people, that they have had sudden news or a sudden event happen in their lives in the last 2.5 weeks, or some news that they have to it's shaking up their own personal world, in some respect. But this transit is only to last for the next 2.5 months. But Mars is, a planet of the young. It's rebellious. So, in the outer world, so to speak, in the macro world, young people, I feel, will be, or people, with Mars in their chart, they will be rebellious, and they're going to be rebellious against, the norm, the structure. And the structure is, Saturn, the planet Saturn. And Saturn, likes control, it likes simplicity, definition, realism, and Saturn reveals your weak, the weak areas, for it to strengthen. But Saturn is an outer planet, so therefore it's more to do with society. It's no coincidence that Saturn moved into Aquarius, and Aquarius is all about society, and it moved in to Aquarius on the 21st of March, along with Jupiter on the 29th of March, moved into Capricorn. And what did we have within that week? We had, throughout, Europe, or that we had the lockdown, because Saturn is talking about hard lessons to be learned. It's talking about slowing things down, and Jupiter is talking about expansion. Do you know what I mean? It's magnified, and then these two planets move back, Saturn moved back into Capricorn and Jupiter moved back into Sagittarius around the 1st of June. And what did we see then? Do you know what I mean? There was, there was lifts, the lifts on the restrictions, do you know what I mean, of us where to go. So you know, it does mean a lot. But Mars, now that it's turning retrograde, and it's in its own sign, is kind of going to be rebellious now against this form, against this, you know, you probably see a lot of how would you say, risings kind of against, you know, governments and such as, do you know what I mean, structure and that. But hopefully it's, you know, it's for the better in a way, you know. But also, so let's see. Yeah, so like as I was saying, in my own chart, it's in my 10th house. But also I'm a Pisces rising, so it's affecting my 2nd house. And I've noticed that with my own, it's a real shake up with my own, you know, personal finances and that, you know, my material gain. But what it's saying at this time, you know, for Mars turning retrograde, is kind of to battle through it, you know, that way, battle through it like a soldier, so to speak. Also, I've noticed, you know, being, you know, an Aquarian, like my star sign, as in my sun sign is Aquarius, that it's affecting my 3rd house, and that is it is affecting my 3rd house. It's affecting within my work area, to do with, you know, communication, to do with electronic devices and technology and that. And, you know, it has been that in the last couple of weeks. So I'm just going to try and persevere through this. So for each person it would be different, you know. It's just dependent on your ascendant sign or your moon sign. My moon sign is Libra, so it's happening in my 7th house, my 7th house of relationships and that. And I haven't seen that, so to speak, but who knows, do you know what I mean, in the next 2.5 months. Hopefully, you know, it'll be positive shake up. But I think all around it's Mars is, you know, it's shaking up a part of your life, you know what I mean, for the better, do you know, that way. And it's telling you to persevere through it, you know. You might have, you know, had some, you know, news or that in the last couple of weeks, or, you know, you soon will, that will, you know, it will shake up, you know, the foundations of a particular thing in your life. But this is to the reason why. And then by mid-November, Mars will go it'll go forward again, and I'd say by, you know, the beginning of December, you know, all this energy will be, you know, gone and that. So what I'm going to do is a planetary spread. I'm going to pull 7 cards here, and just to see as to what. So also in the last week, this is a very, you know, very strong week to do with, you know, transits and that. Also in the last week we had Venus, the planet of love and material gain, move into Leo. And Leo is, you know, the lion heart, talks about the lion heart. Also Leo is the 5th house. It can talk about, you know, being creative, being young, you know, having fun, and it can talk about, you know, meeting new people or that, you know. It can also talk about your children, you know. So Venus there in the last couple of days moved into Leo, but also Mercury moved into Libra. And Mercury is the planet of communication and, you know, the planet of the mind, communication and information, I should say. And it moved into Libra, so Libra is all to do with balance and relationships, partnerships, you know, whether it be to do with work, you know, friendship or that. So there will be a lot of communication, But once again, just to remind that Mars is retrograde, it's going back, so not to be losing the head with people, you know what I mean, while you're communicating or that, you know, because this can happen as well. As well, we had there last week, we had a full moon in Pisces. And the full moon in Pisces talks about endings. Do you know, it's the last sign of the zodiac. You know, so Pisces house is all to do with endings. And this Mars retrograde can talk about, you know, something ending in your life, you know, an ending of some sort, you know, situation or you know, something ending. But with the Mars, it's, you know, it's because it wants to shake it up for you and, you know, to start something new, you know, to be refreshed, to have passion, you know, to have drive, you know, for it. Maybe something needs to end in your life, do you know, that way, because, you know, you no longer have the passion or desire to do it, do you know, that way. So yeah, let's pull the cards in anyway. So this is on the 9th of September 2020. So the first card out we have is the Princess of Swords, which is air energy. The next card out we have is the Hermit, which is a major arcana card, and it talks about Virgo, and we are in the Virgo time. Sun is in Virgo at the moment. The next card out we have is the Star, which is another major arcana card, and it is Aquarius. The next card out we have is the Ace of Swords, and it's air energy, and it's in the position of Mercury. So the Ace of Swords talks about clear, concise, you know, intellect, communication, thoughts and that. So that's interesting that it's in that position. The next card out we have is the Eight of Wands, and that's fire energy. The next card out we have is the Nine of Wands, and let's just say, I know the Nine of Wands is it's Mars. I know it's Mars. No, it's not actually, it's Moon and Sagittarius, it's not, but I just, maybe it's because of the picture depicted, but you know, this is, you know, the soldier, so you know, it can be reflective of Mars energy, do you know, that way, because Mars is the warrior, is the soldier. And that's in the Moon position. And then the final card we have is lovely, is the Three of Wands, more fire energy. So Mars is fire, and we have here, you know, in this line here, all wands, all fire energy. So you know, wands is, you know, creativity, it's about passion, it's about desire, do you know, all what Mars represents, do you know, that way. But and here with the Three of Wands, it's saying, so the overall, this is lovely, the overall energy here is the Sun, and the Sun, you know, is very, very positive. The Sun is in Virgo at the moment, so, and Virgo talks about Virgo is ruled by Mercury, but you know, it talks about information. It talks about being analytical and that. So for some, you know, you could be quite, you know, analytical about yourself in some way. You know what I mean? Thoughts within or that. But I feel, you know, it's for, you know, a very positive, you know, you want to have a very positive outlook. I feel that, you know, for some here, that you need to open up your horizons here, because whatever it is that you want to manifest is coming towards you. Do you know that way? You know, if you are in the right frame of mind, right, being positive about yourself or that, you know, I feel that, you know, your intentions or your dreams or that can come reality. But it's saying here as well, you know, with your emotions and that, and the moon part of it, with your thoughts, that you do need to persevere. You may feel a little bit jaded at times, but it's saying here with the 8 wands in the Jupiter that you position, that, you know, 8 wands talks about, you know, communication. It talks about, you know, talks about, you know, good news. And I feel, and it's about good news within the next 8 weeks. Mars retrograde is talking about the next 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks. So I feel, you know, whatever that you persevere with, and this is what Mars is saying, whatever you persevere with now for the next 8 to 10 weeks, you know, good news, good fortune is going to come your way here with the Sun card. And look what's underneath the Sun here. We have is the Empress, and the Empress talks about Aries. Do you know what I mean? The Empress is the Aries energy, like, you know, to be that soldier. Do you know what I mean? But also maybe to, you know, sit on your throne. You know, make sure that, you know, stubborn in a good, you know, in a good positive way. You know, that way that for that you're going to stand your ground for what you believe in, you know, for what you want to go for, because, you know, the Emperor here is holding up his, you know, his world, and so what it is that you want to achieve. I feel as well with the Star card here, you know, for a lot of people that, you know, it can be a lifetime wish coming true for you, you know, with the Star. But once again, you will have to, you know, persevere and be that warrior. Do you know that way? And you have to make your, how would you say, your intentions, your thoughts, your communication clear and concise. Do you know what I mean? And no, you know, not to be very clear and concise. You know, not to be confused, or, you know, communicate in a confusing way. Do you know that way? I don't feel that that's going to, you know, happen. You know, with the Princess of Swords here, you know, it also talks about communication. So I feel for a lot of people that, you know, good communication, you know, is needed. But as well, if it's for, you know, some that are maybe, because underneath the emperor here we have is the devil. So if there is some type of toxicity in your life or that, I feel that you're going to overcome this, you know, over the next, you know, 2.5 months, because Capricorn, you know, even though, you know, this is showing a toxicity, like it could be to do with a relationship, it could be to do with, you know, a type of addiction, something that, you know, that you're overindulging in. You know, I feel that you will get through it. We're here with the Emperor, with the soldier. You will have a stubborn nature, and it'll be, you know, very positive. The reason why I'm saying that, because it's Capricorn as well, and Capricorn talks about perseverance. Do you know that way? And also Saturn is in, you know, Capricorn at this time, and it can be talk about something that has gone on, and it'll be since the 24th of December, something has gone on, you know, in your life that you need to rectify. Do you know that way? So in the last, say, 9 months, something you feel that you need to, you know, to rectify, to get over. You know, it'd be challenging, you know, you're probably looking at ways as to do this or something like that, but over the next 2.5 months you are going to succeed. Do you know? That's very interesting, the way the cards came up about that. Because once again, yeah, Saturn transited on the 24th, you know, of December, and then I think Jupiter on the 26th, you know, which started all of this, you know, because I feel, you know, even on a macro level, like, you know, there has been a lot of change in 2020, you know, a lot going on in 2020, but also for a lot of people on a personal, you know, level, there's a lot, you know, a lot being happening, you know, to each individual as well, like, but it's for, you know, it's for the better, you know, in the long you know, in the long run, it'd be for the better. And then mid-November, when Mars goes forward, then we will have also, I think by then, Saturn and Jupiter, because they're retrograde at the moment as well, so there's a lot of retrograde energy, like, you know, but they will have moved forward as well. So by December, you know, coming, you know, things will, you know, there'll be a brighter outlook. Yeah. So I do hope you like the reading. It's a little bit different. It's more on the astrology side of things. Also, it's saying, you know, Saturn will move, because Saturn moved into Aquarius, as I said, on the 21st of March, and then, you know, just before lockdown, and then moved back out of Aquarius, back into Capricorn, you know, around the, I think it was the end of June, beginning of July. And it will move back now, it will go forward into Aquarius, I think in December, I think it's around the 7th of December, but it's not that we're going to go back into lockdown or that, we're just going to have learned our lesson this time round. Do you know what I mean? From the lockdown this time round. So when we move into, when Saturn moves into Aquarius, it's you know, it's all to do with the greater good for society. Do you know that way? So yeah, hope you like the reading. If you do, please like, share, leave a comment. Slán.